There's a sixth sense beyond that which is known to man. The sense is sought after as the Holy Grail, and as precious as immortality. It's the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and entertainment, and it lies at the pit of a man's fears and the summit of his genius. This sense, of course, is a sense of humor, and this is Sense of Humor TV.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sense of Humor TV. Back with one of our first returning guests. You know him from one of our earlier episodes, comedian, podcaster, hockey media guy, and my fellow Paisan from Pittsburgh, Joe Bartnick.
What's up, Auguste? DeRose-Jones.
What's up, homie?
And we have the great Noah here. I know. Look, another amazing outfit. The most coordinated sidekick in the business.
I wear my Sunday best for you, Joe.
You always do. You always do. And Augie always dresses up too. It's always a pep rally.
Yeah. Hey,
with Augie.
We're excited anytime we get him around. Yeah, obviously Noah Bergman on the ones and twos, and then we got Alec over there, always producing and kicking ass.
Excuse me.
But no, you're good, man.
I should be wearing something more comfortable. I'm wearing a tight Italian Bergman shirt.
We're doing every kind of style of a Paisan right now. That was the first time I met Noah. I was like, why are you appropriating our culture right now with these sweatsuits you're wearing?
That was the first thing you said to me. You said, are you Italian? I said, no. You said, take that shit the fuck off.
And I knew we were going to be friends right there because you took it well.
He's like Tony Soprano after he went and did the mushrooms in the desert.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand.
I understand, man.
But no, that's great. Thanks for coming on again, Joe.
No, my pleasure.
It's
always a great hanging.
We will let you know right at the beginning, and we're going to let you know at the end. Me and Joe will be in Pittsburgh March 8th.
Yeah, March 8th at Lola Brewery. And last time we were there, I had friends tell me it was the best show I've ever had in Pittsburgh.
Dude, I'm real excited to do it. I've had so many people that have seen the thing. They're like, I love that place. So.
Oh yeah, no, but I mean my set. The beer is going to be good. And it's also like it's a different half hour, so the hour will be half turned over. If you're running out at the Improv, come on out. But we had so much fun at Improv. It was you pulled the Irish goodbye at like 4 a.m.
Dude, I had to. That's how you know these guys are beasties. Because he's bringing me to 4 a.m. We went to Permani's next door, I remember, and your buddies were there too, and I was hanging out with them.
Oh yeah, we were. It's first of all, it's me.
Yeah.
Second of all, it's Pittsburgh. It's like it's going to go till 4 or 5. The towns where I know where we can drink till 4 or 5. No, we drink until 4 or 5.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
I pulled an Irish goodbye at the hotel lobby. I said, "All right, I'm out."
No, at the after hours bar.
Oh,
that just disappeared.
Okay, well, see, I don't remember. That's why.
Because the bartender or the security guy, whoever we were drinking with, was just like, "What happened to your buddy?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
I just woke up with an Uber charge, and I was like, all right, at least I Ubered, and we got home. But no, we got 2 shows this time, so definitely come out, guys. It's going to be really, really fun. So
yes.
I just want to mention that at the beginning and at the end. So
No, definitely. Low Love they're good people over there, and we're going to have a great time.
And we're going to put the link to the show in the bio for the episode and all of our social pages, so just check that out. But dude, I'm obviously excited to do that, but also just excited to sit down with you again. I mean, we talk all the time, but you know what I mean? Since our last pod, it's cool to...
I know. It's so funny because we always have a great time in Pittsburgh, whether it be Penguin games but the last time, remember we went to that strip club down on the north side that had like female cage fighting?
Dude.
Whoa.
And no, these weren't like hot chicks going at it in bikinis. These were like Kamala, the Ugandan giant, as women. And we were in like the second row, and I thought the cage was gonna come down. We moved back a row.
Literally, that was probably the quietest me and Joe have ever had hanging out because it was so loud in there too. Like the music was blasting. It was the only time I've ever been to a strip club where I didn't want to dance too. Like all the girls were just disgusting that were working there.
Did you guys put money down on anything?
No. I guess you could have. The great Mike Zidell of Greenfield's Finest podcast, the great Pittsburgher, great kid. He goes, "You want to come down?" So we're like, "Yeah, it sounds like something to do." And almost as soon as we walked in, like, oh, this isn't what we were expecting.
No. I thought it was gonna be like a pillow fight with like hot chicks.
Yeah, it was. The pillows were their tits.
Dude, it was crazy. They were beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah,
fucking
for
way.
like an extra 50, but like the winner got 200 and the loser got 150, and it was
What?
and it was like people were digging into each other's C-section scars.
me Me and Joe literally, we watched 2 fights, and then he just looked at me like this because we couldn't talk to each other. It was so loud. He just looked at me and goes, "You want to get the fuck out of here?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Let's get the fuck out of here."
Because they were hyping it up, so you had to wait like about a half hour between. Cause they wanted to get as much people in there as possible.
Yeah, yeah.
It was near the Three Rivers Stadium. That's how old I am.
Yeah, right.
The new stadium is so it was like they had a lot of money people coming in and probably waiting for the fight stand. It was a Saturday night, so it's like. Just people. There was real money in there being thrown around.
Yeah.
And maybe betting on the fights, but it was just like, no, we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
It was time. It was time to go because it was also one of those feelings where people were getting. I have really good street sense, like Spidey sense, when I feel like some real violence is going down.
Yeah.
And I kind of had that feeling like
100.
there's some real violence going to go down in here.
100%.
It's time to get out of here.
Damn.
Like somebody's baby mama got hit the wrong way in the chair, and it was time to go.
Someone got beat up too bad, and they're gonna pull out a knife or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely had that vibe.
Oh,
but it was so funny too
God.
because we realized, which is just a side note, we realized like he hit me up and we was like, "You want to go?" I was like, "Yeah, let's go." So, we were so close to each other too. Our parents' places in Pittsburgh are like 6 minutes from each other. So,
Oh, yeah, you told me about that.
That other part, I was like, every time we hang out, me and Joe figure out how
guys just
much
hitch a ride
closer we
together.
are to each other. Like,
Yeah, and another reason was like if the guy I was buying some narcotics off of wasn't working down there that night, it all coincide.
yeah,
One-stop shop.
yeah. No, hey.
Where you gonna be? Oh yeah, we'll be down there. Yeah, I'll get some tickets from Zidell. He offered us. Yeah,
That was the funniest part too. Yeah, Zidell, who opened up the show at the Improv, he just was like, obviously so appreciative, which was awesome, and he had a great set. But he just brought that up, and we're like, sounds like fun.
Yeah.
God
it was the
damn.
best because I love Zidell, and he's I think you've been there, Noah. Well, no, actually, I think they have it pretty much marked out at the Ice House usually. My hardest job is doing the math before a show.
Oh, yeah.
When someone's like, "Well, how much time do you want to do?" Well, what do we got to get to?
100%.
Okay, well, I'll do 50, and then we'll divide this by that, and he gets that and he gets that, and it's like, well, that's 3 hours. Okay, well, let's try it again. Let's do this. And so, the manager of the Improv at the time walks in, and he was like, "Well," and our buddy Andy missed. Who's going to be on both shows in Pittsburgh this time? Hopefully, he catches his plane.
Right.
He missed the
When
plane.
you called me, you're like, I got bad news and other news for you. Like you're like, I don't have to say it.
I'm like, how much time do you got? And so we're trying to stretch. I'm like, well, Augie can do this, and I go, well, and the manager's like, do you have any guesses? I go, well, I told Zidell if he was going to come down, he could do some time. And he's like, I'll call him right now. Zidell literally like popped a Viagra. It was about to go to work. And he's like, I told my girlfriend Bartnick, let me do a guess that I'm leaving. And he was there in like a minute and a half.
Torqued. Fully torqued.
He must have used his dick to like hit the gas pedal.
Literally.
He was literally.
He's telling us this in the green room. We're dying.
I'm like, I don't even know how.
That was my first time meeting Zidell too. I'm like,
Did he? Because if you know where the Pittsburgh Improv is, it's not an easy place to get to. So unless he lived at the Permanis in the, I don't know how he got to.
it's right on the water. Yes, he's banging her in the woods. It's right in the woods. It's in Homestead.
How can you
dude.
take a
It's like,
Viagra and get there that
Oh, that's
fast?
so funny.
Yeah, did you swim here?
Used his dick as a flipper and just got there. Like,
Yeah, and hopefully he'll swing by and do some time at the Low Love.
that would be cool.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
He's such a great dude.
I'm coming out there.
he's
with
such
you
a
guys.
Pittsburgher. That's what I love him. He has like such a Yinzer accent too and everything. I love that dude. He's real funny.
That is one thing that someone just brought up recently that I don't really have the Yinzer accent.
No,
No,
I think you've lived for like out of there for long enough.
yeah, it's more the words I use.
That's
did
it.
Did we talk about this?
It's
last
the words you use, not the way you say it. Almost.
Like I'll catch myself. I'll say "red up" to clean up. I actually have a joke where I was saying "red up," the lifeguard "red up" around the office, and it's like I gotta say "clean up." I gotta remember to say "clean up."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the big one was my daughter was my wife was like, I'm going, so I just fucking place better be someone better run the vacuum cleaner or whatever. Someone better sweep or whatever. Yeah. So I'm like yelling at my daughter, like, get the sweeper and fucking vacuum. And she's like, what? I'm like, the sweeper. She's like, what? What? I go, it's right in the closet. It's right. She's like, that's the vacuum. I don't know what a sweeper is. I'm
Really?
like,
See, I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, what is she thinking? Yeah.
yeah, it's like, so that's the thing I say. And the other thing I will say is I will say wash
Yeah.
instead of wash. And that's like Washington, D.C.
Do you say crick or creek?
Probably crick.
Yeah, me too.
I'll say, I usually don't say pop for soda, only because I only really want a Coke.
Yeah.
And if you don't have Coke, and you know my disdain for Pepsi.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like, I just, hey, you have a Coke? Like, no, well, you get ginger ale. Like, I don't want a Faygo pop.
Did you notice? Did you notice immediately when you moved to California that like how much more like literal they are out here than like us? Where it's like I remember even like you remember Heidi that used to host my shows. She got in an argument this one time.
The hot lesbian.
Yeah, the hot lesbian. Shout out Heidi. She got
as opposed to the hot who's the sober chick?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Another shout out.
As opposed to the hot other chick. Augie has a type.
Yeah, you just gotta be hot.
Yeah, well, hey, that's putting butts in seats.
Exactly. But her girlfriend was from California, and she said taco soup instead of tortilla soup, and her girlfriend was like, what is that? I've never. And she was like, you know what I mean? Like they got this little mini argument. I was out to eat with them, and she was like, you know what I mean, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, no, you don't understand. Like she literally does not know what you mean. Like California, because my girlfriend's from California, they're so literal that like we're very like, oh, I know what you mean. I don't need to correct you. They're very like, wait, what did you mean? Like,
oh, I just thought that was my daughter just being a jerk all the time, because my daughter would correct everything like that.
No, it's just California people, dude. I'm telling you, it's like I've seen it
when I first moved here,
like,
my first job, I just moved out here. I lived here for like 4 days, started my new job, and they were like having me write this email to someone just in training, and I was like, hello, John, and they were like, oh, we don't really say hello here. Why don't you backspace that and just put hi? And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? I just came from New York, and my old boss would be like, the fuck is wrong with you? You're a fucking worm. And I'd be like, oh my God, I'm a worm. What the fuck?
Yeah, I even think I use hey all the time. I even think hey is informal.
Yeah.
But I say hey because I'm like, what am I supposed to say? Yeah, exactly.
It's weird. I don't know. This place makes you overthink because of the people
I used to say, I think hey's another. I used to say hey to my teacher in high school. I would be like, hey. And then she goes, oh, I'm not a horse. Don't say hey to me. That's for horses. And I go, all right, I'm just never going to say hello to you anymore. And she was like, no, don't do that. I was like, nope, you ruined it. I was like, fuck you.
Yeah, I'd be like, can I go to the bathroom? They'd be like, may you go to the bathroom?
Yeah,
I'd be like, I'll piss myself right now.
That shit bothers. But it's like, we're very like, I don't know. I think that's an East Coast thing, plus maybe Italian thing, because Heidi's from the, Midwest, I guess. But she would always be like so mad about like the literalness of, you know what I mean, of like her girlfriend being like, she's like, you know what I mean? I'm like, no, she really doesn't, because she's from LA. She has no, like, they talk so precise that it's like, we're very like, I can figure it out. I know what you're talking about.
1,000%. It drives my wife crazy. It drives everyone I know crazy. How I just talk in bursts and you have to figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what I mean? You know exactly what I'm
I get it.
Yeah.
It comes across to me. I get it fine.
Yeah, like you know what I mean? Don't make me like, come on.
My stepdad always says, he goes, you know what I mean, not what I say. Like, and I'm like, that's but he's a salesman, it's like, that's, you know what I mean. You know what don't pay attention to what I'm saying, pay attention to what I mean.
Yeah, like you got the gist of it.
Yeah, exactly. I think those are some of the best conversationalists, is people not, like, I can get it. I got it. I don't need to focus on these little, I'm like, that has nothing to do with the story I just told you. Why are you focusing on the taco soup, if it's tortilla soup or taco soup?
Like me and my wife only did game night like twice ever. And one of them was this thing where you have to like think what your partner's saying or whatever real quick. Mm-hmm. And I go, and I go, I'm like the gay guy. I'm like the old guy that wrote all that gay shit. And my wife's like Shakespeare. She knew exactly.
That's true love, people.
That is true love right there.
You know what I mean?
You know what's fucking crazy is I knew what you were talking about.
Yeah, it's like, you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like that smart black dude.
Yeah.
Everyone knows who I mean. The guy that's on Rogan.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. I know exactly. That's crazy. I know we could do. Maybe we'll make that a new like thing of being like charades with that, because that's. I knew exactly who you're talking. When you said smart black dude, I'm like, it's him.
Yeah, Italian man charades.
Oh, that's hilarious, dude.
That's fucking amazing.
Dago charades.
That's so funny. That's amazing. Oh, dude. That's too funny. I knew both immediately.
Yeah, it's like, you know what I mean?
You said 2 words. I'm like, yep. But no, I think that's a good part of being a good conversationalist, is like, people are always so focused on the wrong parts of what people were telling them. And it's like, people just really want you to understand what they're like, saying. So that's just not even get too deep on that, but that just cracks me up, like, 'cause it's so true.
I'm coughing like I've only had one cigarette this last 3 weeks too.
You still got your cigarettes from
Italy? No, I smoked all them. I'm on my third pack.
You see that right behind your head? That's that terrible towel from the place you went in Italy. My brother brought it back.
Oh yeah,
he just went over there. That little Italian bar in Rome.
Yeah, did he mention me?
Rich, yeah.
Did he say my name?
Yeah, he said he literally just said he was like I was just at my brother's show who his paisan came over here because I think you might have even mentioned it because you were like I was just in Italy. Everyone's Italian. It was awesome. I think you did that joke when you were in Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't. Oh, I might have. Yeah. No, because Giovanni, who owns the bar, I was asking if your brother mentioned he.
Oh, I don't know if he mentioned him to you, but I know he was talking to like the waitress over there saying.
No,
that,
because
like,
I got one of the funniest. This is just by chance, Noah. You've heard the story, so I'm not trying to like. Oh,
no.
Is I was over literally. I got into Rome. Was in Rome like. We dropped off our bags and met my wife and my daughter who came from they were coming from Florence. I was coming from America or Canada actually.
Okay.
We go, let's go get dinner. Walking in Rome, there's and probably every Italian city actually, there's like the piazza that all the streets go out from. We're like, I could spit from beginning of our avenue or lane to the middle of the piazza, and then you could spit to like, so literally like the closest you can almost see it. I see a Steeler helmet and like a Penguin stuff in the window.
What the fuck?
So I go, oh, look at that. We walk by. I'm going to take a picture. I got to take a picture. Guy comes in, goes, oh, you're from Pittsburgh. I go, oh, yeah, goes, oh. And we're talking for like 20 minutes, and my wife is like, Jesus Christ, I can't go 20 feet without running into an Italian guy from Pittsburgh who wants to talk Penguin hockey. So he tells us where to go for dinner. The most incredible Italian dinner. I tip like 50 American. The guys were like incredible. I had 2 entrees because I didn't eat.
Oh my god!
I had like a delay at JFK
flight.
and then the long ass flight, and I'm like, I'm not getting sushi and then getting on a flight.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
So
2 entrees.
So we come back. God. He stays open late night, 3 nights in a row because the Penguins were playing 3 nights, like 2 out of 3 nights. He stayed open like 4 a.m. So I could sit there and watch the game.
No way.
I was praying for the Penguins in the church. But here's the funny part, right? So the first night, he's just a nice guy. He wants everyone from Pittsburgh to know he's Steelers come in, Penguins come in. Nice Italian guy. But there was a guy in the bar. I was outside with my wife, and he goes. The guy just randomly goes, "Oh, my favorite comic. He's from Pittsburgh." And Giovanni goes, "Oh, who?" And he goes, Joe Bartnick. He goes, he's sitting right outside. I swear on my grandmother.
No way.
I swear on my grandmother. The guy comes out and he's like, oh my God. So we shook hands, took a picture. And then the rest of like the 3 days I was in town, Giovanni was like, who the fuck is this
right.
guy?
That's fucking amazing.
Yeah. So then I wanted to buy his shirt. The first thing I'm buying his shirt, right? So then he gave me one of his shirts his friend made that says like American born with Italian roots. It's like a tree. It's like Italian flag.
That's beautiful.
It was like handmade.
Oh, that's
like,
fucking amazing.
That's dope.
Because I think it might just fall apart.
Holy
but not
shit.
Because it's just like a homemade.
Yeah.
It's not
like that's fucking incredible.
Yeah, and then I bought the other one at his bar. It's like we came.
I have it right here.
Holy
shit.
I
wore it on Sunday to the game. I went to watch the game at the Improv on Sunday. I wore it. People were like, where'd you get that from? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God! So are you gonna go see him every time you go back there?
Oh,
now?
absolutely!
Every time?
Yeah,
that's fucking amazing.
You got to.
I love seeing your videos when you were over there too, because I just get on Instagram when I wake up and it's just you in front of the Coliseum, Penguins hat on. You're like, "What's up?" It's your morning skate here. And
this is the towel from his place that he's talking about.
Oh, that's fucking awesome!
Oh yeah. You know what's really funny about?
Isn't that sick?
My
brother just got it from me. So.
My daughter's like. Because my daughter's over there studying, and she's like, everyone thinks you're Italian until you start talking.
Me scusi.
And they would like a little bit. I can speak Spanish back to them a little bit. It's funny because my grandparents used to speak Italian in the house, so like, growing up, I could understand it.
You knew a little bit.
And then when I went to college, I was for Spanish class. The lady's like, "We're speaking Italian." But then it's like also no Italians are just decked out in penguin gear.
Yeah,
everywhere.
True.
Yeah, I kept feeling the same thing. When I was in Rome, everyone kept being like, everyone knows you're American because you're wearing a baseball cap. You know, like I was wearing a baseball cap the whole time with like either probably Steelers pens, whatever on it. But
oh, you weren't donning your Laker gear yet?
No. I mean, hey, we're back, baby. We're back.
I know. I think it's phenomenal, just because when the Lakers stink, it's terrible for this city,
dude.
And then all the Laker haters, they thought that they weren't going to be good for a while, and they always find a way to have one of the three best players on earth.
This is the conversation we were literally just having right before you showed up, Joe. I was just saying, like, my favorite thing about being a Lakers fan and was about being, for most of my life about being a Steelers fan, and like, I've had a great tenure as a Penguins fan too. Is like,
yeah, you were too young to even know when we were the Clippers.
I do.
Wait, so you guys were the Clippers?
What?
Well, no, I mean the Penguins were marred in being a horrible organization for the first 15 years of their existence.
Oh.
They were Clipper level. Just ownership and debacles and just bad luck.
Yeah.
And then we drafted Lemieux as our Lord and Savior.
Okay.
In the last 40 years, we have 5 Stanley Cups, which is tied for the most since the merger.
Fuck yes.
I was born in '93.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah.
I'll drink to that. Hell yes.
Mario.
Yeah.
So it's like, so you never even had to live through that.
And
just
so
just like me, I'm sorry. I was born in 1969. I was born the first year Chuck Noll came to town.
Yeah.
Okay.
So before that, like my dad remembers, the Steelers were the Clippers.
Yeah.
Like they were awful.
Wow.
And no one 55 or older even knows.
No. It feels like they've been good forever.
Nuts.
You know what I mean?
They have been.
Yeah.
For most, I mean.
And like I literally was born 3 years later. We were in the Super Bowl. With Cower. We were in the Super Bowl 3 years later, and it was like always hearing my parents' generation being like, "Oh, they're like being in the '70s. The Pirates were in the Pirates and Steelers won the World Series and the Super Bowl the same year. Blah blah blah." And then I was like, "Damn, I really wish I could get that." And I was so upset because I was a young football fan, like I loved it. So I was like, "All right." And then I remember we got Ben, and it was just awesome. We won 15. He went 15-0 his rookie year. We won the Super Bowl second year. It was just like immediately.
Damn, I feel like I remember. I feel like I was in like second grade when that happened.
It was just amazing. It was just so. But then the Lakers, like I said, I've been a Lakers fan my whole life, as all the Pittsburgh fans will know. But give me shit my whole life about it. But I love that they're not okay being just okay. Like they're just like, all right, we're gonna go get Luka. Like I just love that as a fan base. It's like you don't have to worry about being the Browns. You don't have to, the Pirates. Fuck you guys. But you don't have to worry about dealing with that shit.
Well, the thing that's interesting though is just how they get away with it. That's what's remarkable. Like. They drafted Jerry West, they drafted Elgin Baylor. Okay, then they got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
Then they got first they got Will Chamberlain.
Yeah.
Then they got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Then they drafted Magic freaking Johnson.
Crazy.
It's like that's incredible. And then they had just a couple down years, but not really. Then they lured Shaq. And then somehow they finagled Kobe.
Yeah.
And then somehow they got Gasol. And then they got LeBron.
Yeah.
And then they got Anthony Davis. And then they got this kid.
Crazy. You can even throw Ron Artest in there. Like, they have so many Hall of Famers.
I don't put Ron Artest. Please.
Yeah.
I just named 9 first ballot Hall of Famers.
He'll be in the Hall of Fame. Ron Artest will be.
That's why Hall of Fame suck nowadays. Ron Artest he should be the security guard at the Hall of Fame. Ron Artest, give me oh God.
Hey, I don't know. No. I like Ron. Better World Peace, baby.
Better World Peace. The greatest name change ever, though, is how old I am. From the 1976 76ers, his name used to be Lloyd Free. He changed his name to World Be Free.
What?
Because he was all world.
I never knew that one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
I can basically name the 11 guys from the 1970 77, 76, 77. The team that lost to the Bill Walton Trailblazers. I could probably name 11 guys on that team.
What, the Sixers team?
I loved them when I was a kid.
Was that before Dr. J, or is that?
No, that's Dr. J.
That's Dr. J, yeah.
Yeah, because he came from the ABA, went to the Sixers. And I love the Sixers. Dr. J. And then they got Moses Malone. And then they got Barkley. And then I call it Black Monday. One of the only 2 or 3 times I ever cried about sports. They traded Malone and the rights to Brad Daugherty for Roy Hinson and Jeff Ruland.
Ugh.
I'm sorry.
You think this trade was bad for Dallas? Imagine traded Moses Malone and Brad Daugherty. That's like 40 years of all-star appearances.
What were the other times that got you when you cried from sports?
When DePaul lost to St. Joe's in like 81 or 82.
Okay.
When they had Mark Aguirre, they were the number 1 team in the nation. They were badass.
Okay.
And then I think when Lemieux got cancer.
Oh.
Yeah.
I remember being very upset when Preston Pearson, who you may know as a Dallas Cowboy, got traded from the Steelers. And that's when I realized that, people can get traded in sports. I didn't realize you could get
Yeah, you see all those videos. Speaking of that,
what?
you see all those videos.
Now
of-
he's a Cowboy? Because, you're a little white kid in Pittsburgh. Like, Preston Pearson was badass.
Yeah. I just got his jersey. Yeah.
And it's just like, what? He could get traded.
There's all those videos coming out of kids with Luka jerseys.
I was just stunned when we lost 1993 Pittsburgh Penguins Islanders Game 7 when Lemieux couldn't get the three-peat. That's my worst loss ever. And people think I love
know
the
how that
Penguins
feels.
now. I can't love them as much as I did. Like, I'll probably never fall. I won't get into it, but we said about my dog just passed. I'll probably never love another, even though I have a dog I love, like Ruby. Like, I can't love the Penguins as much as I did up until 1993 because I just got so shattered.
You feel the same with the Steelers too? No,
I don't.
Still diehard Steelers.
The Steelers will never be the Steelers to me that they were in the.
Yeah, you were telling me about those teams that you saw back in the day.
I used to go through a stadium in the 70s when there was like 6 kids and no women. I mean, it was the hometown advantage. It was
Sounds like a good time.
It was the real steel curtain, and Franco and Swan and Stallworth. So it's like I grew up with the Globetrotters, and now it's like I want them to win, but it's not like they're not Mean Joe.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like those guys were like Superman, Batman, Shazam. The Green Knight.
Yeah.
I mean, Mean Joe and like Lambert, like that's Franco.
That's
why I love it.
nuts.
And it's almost how I am now feeling about like the Troy, Big Ben, Jerome era. Like Peasy, all these people, James Harrison, and it's like my favorite thing that Troy said in his Hall of Fame speech when he went in with Cowher in 2020. He said the best compliment you can get from these guys is you could have played with us. And he's like, I was like, if they told Troy that, like that, made me. Because I never got to watch them play live like these.
Troy, Polamalu, Big Ben, Harrison are the guys that I would call like they're real Steelers.
They're all time.
Like that's when I call like they're the real Steelers or my Steelers. That's the 70s Steelers. But like, definitely Big Ben, Polamalu, Harrison,
Jerome.
Bus. Yeah, I love Bus. But Bus is like a cartoon character. Like I love the Bus. But like Harrison, Polamalu. We've talked about this many times. But Harrison and Polamalu as Steelers, and Ray and Ed Reed as Ravens, along with they had Suggs and like those, and we had Aaron Smith. Those were when dinosaurs still roamed the earth.
Yeah.
And that was when it was still the NFL.
Last of the dying breed.
When you could just injure somebody on purpose.
Yeah.
That's such a good way to say it.
That was the last time. And, AFC, whatever they call the division, football was just like that.
Yeah.
When dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Yeah.
They asked
they were bad men.
They asked Tomlin which defense he thought was better, the 2005 or the 2008, or 2008, 2010. And 2008 was when Polamalu won the Defensive Player of the Year, and 2010 was when James Harrison won it. And he just literally goes, that 2010 team, he goes, we changed the rules. He's like, literally, James Harrison knocked so many people out that season that they literally had to change the rules.
Colt McCoy was the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, and you saw him running, and you knew it was going to be sick, but it became PlayStation.
Dude,
Like,
do you know this?
Like,
Do you know this?
That's how
Noah?
hard Harrison got fined like
Alec, can you bring
$750,000 in
up
like
that hit
3 weeks.
on the TV?
Oh
Remote
my
over there?
God.
You know what I mean?
The Colt McCoy,
Because he
James
hit
Harrison.
like 5 people. Like he hit like 5 people in like 3 games and got fined like $750,000.
Dude,
he almost retired. 'Cause he's like, F this.
Oh,
The Colt McCoy one, like you're talking about, Colt McCoy was on an interview recently, and he goes, "Every time I golf, I still think of James Harrison because my fucking shoulder cracks every time I hit a ball." Like,
yeah, like those were just men, and that's like the thing with like they changed the rules for Mel Blount. Now there's the bump and run. Because before, Mel Blount would just hit you at the line of scrimmage, and you couldn't get off the line of scrimmage. He'd just hold you down and you hold your face.
Jeez, I got to watch these highlights.
And Mean Joe lined up crooked, and that's how he would just knock the center. He'd always be double teamed. Yeah, the steel curtain. And that's what gets me about, they want to make, whatever, T.J. Watt. Oh, is he an all-time Steeler? Like T.J. Watt wouldn't even be on the, or is he a Hall of Fame? T.J. Watt, or they say he's like, they try to pretend like he's an all-timer. Yeah. He wouldn't make the all-Steeler team because Jack Ham's in the Hall. Like Jack Ham is a much better linebacker.
Yeah.
If you can put him on the line, look at L.C. Greenwood.
Yeah.
I mean, there's literally like, he's not a top. If you want to say defensive Steelers of all time, he may be number 9 or 10, but. Mean Joe, Ham, Lambert, Mel Blount, Polamalu, James Harrison.
Yeah, watch this right here.
Yeah, okay, so that's
okay. We just pulled it up for Noah. Watch this hit.
Is it going to come on so people can hear it? Okay, here we go. Now watch this.
Oh, he's like spread eagle, dude.
Bro.
Holy sh.
Yeah, that'll change your political views.
Yeah. I mean, just absolutely, that's.
Oh my God.
And they're like, what? Yeah, they can't even, like, he's like, what?
They got to play that back. They're playing it back, right?
Oh, yeah.
I got to see this again. Oh, shit.
I was at the game where it was a playoff game. Bud Dupree killed Matt Moore. Like, literally, like, the most dead person I've ever seen on a football field. No penalty.
Oh, this is a better view. Watch.
Jesus.
Dude. See it.
Oh.
You want to run around, buddy? Stay in that pocket.
I just give him all the credit in the world to see that guy coming. I mean, I'd be afraid to run my car into James Harrison.
I remember one time they asked Jake Glazer.
He's like wrapping it around a tree,
yeah.
dude. Yeah.
Thanks, Alec. I remember one time they asked Jake Glazer, they're like, if one NFL player was going to have to transfer into MMA, like, who do you think would be the best? And didn't even have to think about it. He goes, "Oh, James Harrison." He goes, "He's the only person I still call sir when I meet him." He's like, "I am terrified of this man."
Well, that's like, because I love Lynn Swann so much. To me, it went Mean Joe and Lambert, and Franco and Lynn Swann. That's my Mount Rushmore. And Swann has that famous catch where we would be in the streets of Pittsburgh, falling underground and crawling and getting our knees scraped up to.
That's fucking awesome.
Until he made the Hall of Fame, people would get me drunk, which is easy, which was I would do anyway. But in San Francisco, like 5 a.m, they're like, Lynn Swann I'm glad Lynn Swann's not in the Hall of Fame. They would know I would go crazy. Like, in 1996, let's say, I would go name the 10 greatest catches in NFL history. Like Lynn Swann has 4 of them. He's not in the Hall of Fame,
right?
Anyway, I forgot what I was going to say now about the. God damn it, Swann's.
All in Super Bowls, too.
Yes.
Really?
This is what I was going to say. James Harrison's interception return, I think, is the greatest play in Super Bowl history.
I think so,
I'm
too.
not even trying to be if they go in, even if they kick a field goal, we probably lose that game.
100%.
Is it a pick six?
101 yards in the Super Bowl.
101
The last
yards.
Pull that up,
half.
Alec, if you could.
The last play before the half.
James Harrison, 101 yard
You don't
return in the
remember
Super
this
Bowl.
play?
Oh,
It's
what
against
year
the
is
Cardinals,
this?
so I feel Alec's a Cardinals fan, so now I feel bad.
Cardinals?
Now I feel bad. I'm sorry. I forgot.
Oh, here's some trivia.
He's from Arizona. Yeah,
Here's
I totally forgot when I asked.
here's some trivia. I actually had Arizona Cardinals season tickets one year.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, the year Buddy Ball.
Wow.
How did that happen? Were you living in Arizona?
I was in Arizona for a year, and I got season tickets.
Where in
wow.
Arizona?
Phoenix, and then Tempe.
Fuck yeah, we're in
I went for
Tempe.
like 3
I live in Tempe for a year, too.
I went for like 3 weeks, and I shattered my knee playing pickup basketball, so I had to stay to get the surgery. In the meantime, I was still bartending.
Oh.
So I had to pay for the surgery, so I put my name on the wall at Pacific Fish Company in Scottsdale Plaza. I drank.
Nice.
300
You know what, real quick before we play this
I drank
play?
340 beers of the world in like 3 months and 10 days.
That's fucking
And I
amazing.
slowed down so that my dad could come and celebrate with me.
That's amazing.
Real quick, I want to get your opinion on this because before we play this play, so James Harrison says that this is definitely, like himself, he says this is definitely the best play in Super Bowl history, but he thinks it's the second best play in NFL history next to the Immaculate Reception.
Okay.
You agree with that?
I mean, the Immaculate Reception it's a miracle. You know, it's like, do you believe in Jesus or don't you?
Right. Are you spiritual, man? That's a great way to say it. That's a great way to say it.
I mean, there's no other. It literally.
That's funny as fuck.
And so I mean, so listen to this. So my dad was at the game. He didn't even look. He didn't see it exactly because his hand.
That's exactly. That's
his
dude.
hand. He was.
Oh.
He was upset. So cut to, a couple months before Franco passed, I was lucky enough to. I know good friends of his sons, and his son's a fan of mine and a great guy, Doc. We all went out to dinner. Franco's wife, Doc, some friends of mine. We all go to dinner. He comes to our show. He comes backstage.
Wow.
Me, my buddy Bill. No, I'm sorry, my buddy Bill, my dad, and Franco watched a different feed. It had just been released like a week before that Franco had never seen before. So here's my dad. It's like I haven't given my dad. Look at me. I haven't given him much of a to be proud of. Yeah. But he got to sit and look at and watch the Immaculate Reception with Franco.
It's amazing.
Holy
I'm so.
shit.
I mean,
That's
so
fucking
you guys
nuts.
can see on the.
Franco loved my mom's meatballs.
Oh,
So
wow.
so it's like, so Italian mom, like that's
Yeah.
Franco. Yeah. So
Oh,
You
my
guys can
God.
see on the camera. I have an autographed Franco picture right there that I got in 3rd grade. Love Franco. Same. My stepdad has the same story. Where just like your dad, where he was at the game. Oh no! Sat down and got up, and everyone was cheering, and he said, "I missed it." Yeah, same.
Holy shit.
But it's funny too with this play.
well, you
it's
know
like-
that play, right?
Yeah. Right, you gotta know that play. That was also. Okay, that was also.
Everyone knows that one. If you don't know that one, just don't watch the podcast.
Yeah, right. Yeah, seriously. When I worked for the Raiders, shout out. When I worked for the Raiders, this is a big no.
It's looked the other way. They call it a different thing.
I had a metal ticket on my desk from that game that no one. It was my fuck you as a Steeler fan, but no one knew. No one ever called me out on it, not once, right? And the one day I'm sitting there, and what's his name? The coach right after Madden. Tom Flores walks in my office, right? And he walks and he goes, "Hey, young man, like, can you give me a program from the game last week?" And I was like, "Oh," I called him Coach. He loved me because he was not expecting a young guy. Like I was like 22 at the time. I was like, "Yeah, Coach, I got you." And he was like, "Oh, thank you." So I go get him a thing. By the time I come back, he is a fucking scowl on his face, And I go, "Here's your thing, Coach." And he goes, "You're fucking lucky I'm not John Madden," and pointed to the ticket, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like
shit.
no one ever had recognized it on my desk before. Yeah, and
He still gets pissed about that when they would interview him while he's passed now.
yeah, but yeah, Flores was, and I'm like, "You weren't even the coach, then it was Madden, and you're fucking pissed." Like I was just like, "God damn!" But yeah, no one ever knew it was this metal ticket my brother got me.
Well, that's why they were so happy they beat the Steelers. They put the Steelers score on their Super Bowl ring.
Really? Yeah.
When they won because Franco and Rocky were injured.
Yeah, dude.
Little asterisk.
God damn.
Because everyone says the Steelers 76 team was the best Steeler team ever because the offense was starting to come around and the defense was still like the curtain wasn't old yet, like Mean Joe and Elsie. Yeah, because Terry Bradshaw got hurt and he missed all the regular season after like week 2.
Oh, shit.
Was it hand ratty?
And they lost. I think it was Kruzik. I think it was Mike Kruzik, but they lost. They were like 1-4. And the next 10 games, or 1-3, the next 10 games, I mean, I'm going to be wrong, but it's something like 6 shutouts.
Yeah.
And like 15 points total scored against.
Jeez.
Like that's the real steel curtain.
15
but
total points.
But TJ Watt's better than Jack Ham.
All right, roll this clip real quick. I want to see Noah's reaction to this. So 18 seconds left, no timeouts.
I was on the ground myself in my living room. We had a huge party because I was running with him.
Really? Yeah. I remember I was at a big party.
Look at the scores, right? 10. Okay.
Only time Jared Harris ever drops in coverage. Ever.
Oh, my fucking god.
Doesn't make it, then the half ends.
Literally.
Oh my fucking god!
And of all the people, Larry Fitzgerald grabs it.
Oh!
No time, bro.
Holy shit!
101 yards.
Put the team on his back, though. That's the Greg Jennings video right there. Holy shit!
And he was supposed to blitz on that play. You can ask Harrison, who. That's why, again, I love like instinctive players. I call him like that's how you win a defensive player of the year. He was like, I was supposed to blitz on that play, and I just knew he was going to try to quick cut me, so I just dropped it. The first time, he's like, I never look at him laying dead tired. He's like, I never dropped in coverage ever.
Oh.
Face mask on the offense, touchdown.
Face mask on the offense,
Dude,
too.
crazy.
Holy shit.
And it's crazy, too, that might be the second best. I mean, you could argue, like, the Santonio Holmes catch, too, is, like, one of the best plays in Super Bowl history.
Well, what's funny about that, just one more second on that play. I don't want to rub it into your producer. But, no, is not even is if you I've had, you guys ever had acupuncture before?
No.
Oh, so Harrison does acupuncture, and I think it was when he was on the cover of Esquire or, like, GQ, one Sports Illustrated. He had, like, 900 needles in him. He looked like the most evil man on earth. It's him, like James Harrison, gets ready for the season.
Holy shit, that's fucking hard.
Yeah,
that's hard.
He looks like a porcupine.
It's his like body.
And
it's all and he's like he has guns in his hand. And
he has guns in his hand too.
Yeah. It's badass.
That might be my new wallpaper.
Maybe it's a different. There's definitely his guns because they made a big deal about it that he had guns in the photo shoot. Maybe some of them were guns, but he definitely was a bunch of them with like. He looked like a porcupine.
That might be the most badass fucking picture I've ever heard.
He is.
Oh my god,
he is like Resident Evil.
Oh my god! Whoa!
Did you?
Yeah, that's not even the ones I'm thinking of.
Did you see too? He goes.
I can handle that. No, what?
He looks so scary.
He's getting interviewed. He's getting interviewed by some lady after like his defensive player of the year, and or no, it's a guy, and he goes. So what was the combine like for you? And he goes, I didn't get invited to the combine, and he goes. Oh, well, what about getting drafted? What was that like? He goes, you don't know me, do you? And he goes, what? And he goes, I wasn't drafted. And he just goes, all right, good talking to you.
Oh, my God.
He goes, all right, good talking to you. First sentence, he just cuts off the interview.
That's cupping. Cupping is rough. You ever had the cupping done?
No, I've
It's where, like, Asians, they light a candle and put that, and then that's how you get
those circles and stuff?
Yeah. Which if they just do that, it hurts, but not bad. But when they move it,
oh
my god, yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, he's badass.
Oh my god.
I just love that chip on his shoulder where
see, it says cupping combo. Yeah, someone just wrote
there's no one in the NFL like this now.
No.
There's no one like this now. Not even
There's
close.
not a space for him. Like he was undrafted, not at the combine, and ends up being defensive player of the year. I think he's the only one to ever do it.
Nuts.
Well, it's like where especially if you're a great football fan, like everybody that's defensively. That's why I said him and Ed the Strangler Lewis, wrestler from the 30s. No, him, Ed Reed, Polamalu, like the way they would hit guys, like they don't. He got fined, like I said, like almost $1 million.
Right.
They got these guys out of the league.
Right.
Oh, Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark's hit on Willis McGahee would put you in prison.
Ronnie Lott. Kenny's like, that's why everyone that's in the Hall of Fame before
Ronnie Lott's a chop off my finger.
Before the year 2000, everyone in the Hall of Fame, when they show you like, here's their clips, why they're like the 10 greatest linebackers of all time, they'd all be fined and suspended
100%.
for everyone they hit.
Yeah. Every highlight, single highlight.
Like Mean Joe's highlight reel was like, oh, he'd be thrown out of the game. Like every single one.
Well, I think that's the biggest problem with the NFL right now is like when we were, all coming up, the things you brought you to the game were the big passes and big hits, and they're both gone. It's all dink and dunk and no big hits. It's like not the same game. Like I used to love big hits and big passes. Now you're lucky if someone throws, 25 yards. Like it doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
It's just it sucks, man. I like even when you were even when it was more of a running game, like you said, we're like those big passes to the Swan and stuff like that shit was iconic. Or Santonio Ken in the corner of the end zone. Like you don't have those like iconic Super Bowl moments anymore as much.
Or just it wasn't like, oh, they're running. So like when you see guys nowadays, it's like you wonder how they fall down.
Yeah.
Like in the 70s, like no one just kind of ran the line and fell down after 3 yards.
Right.
Like Franco and these guys fought. Like Walter Payton, no one would even tackle him nowadays.
Their life is on the line. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, imagine
They're
Franco
just
or
like, all
Jerome
right.
trying to run these people over now.
This
They
is
would
far
never be
enough.
able to tackle them.
Yeah, or like Earl Campbell.
Yeah, oh God, yeah, that's another one that just
Fucking
monster of a man.
Yeah, it's like Anyway,
But yeah, this
now
is
we're
the
just 3 old men talking about how great the NFL is.
yeah, right. Yeah.
All the
Podcast.
chicks tuned out.
Yeah.
Throw some more chest hair at him.
Look at him diving out of it, Terry,
oh my god, what a fucking
and just snags it out of
dude.
it. Game winner. I love how they flood the field too. I love how also like back in the day you just see like a car parked on the side of the road.
I can't imagine watching that on TV.
The Yinzers. Yeah.
I
Look, they
can't
just immediately
imagine-
run the field.
I can't imagine being at home like a Steelers fan watching that, thinking that didn't happen, and then that guy just
Dude.
comes out of frame.
Well,
and
what-
just,
what
They're
that
all
was the
jumping
thing-
on the field.
Well, that was the thing too, was that in those days, I mean, life was just different the way people acted and everything. So, this is Pittsburgh in the 70s. So they didn't have instant replay, but it was so ridiculous.
yeah.
That the referee called up to like the booth and like, "Hey, what happened?" And they're like, "Well, if you want to get out of here alive."
Yeah.
Yeah, like we don't have enough cops to like protect you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like,
that's
you're gonna say, you know what? Actually, it was incomplete. Like,
there's 70 fans on the field by the time that he's in the end zone. Like,
yeah, there's 70,000 people.
yeah, you're gonna die, dude. Yeah, and it's Franco's Italian army. Like, you
Yeah.
will get killed by the Italian mob if you do not.
Yeah,
Say
it's like
that.
you're not gonna reverse that.
That's such a funny point. And again, it was awesome. I got to be at the 50th anniversary, and like that's one thing I will always cherish. But it's just so funny that people don't know. I mean, obviously it changed everything. Like it changed everything. We were nobody before that.
Yeah,
Nobody
before Franco Harris, the Steelers never won a playoff game.
Yeah.
Or they never made the playoffs. After they never missed when Franco played.
Yeah, he was amazing. Like
Yeah.
God
It was
damn.
Franco. That's when people, ran the ball, and he was like I think he retired the number 2 running back of all time before Jim Brown.
I think you're right. Yeah, and Jim Brown always gave him shit for like his running style because they were so different.
Yeah, but that was the old joke. Franco or Jim Brown versus Franco in a 40-yard dash. Franco was winning, but he ran out at the 38.
Yeah, there we go.
Because Franco had always got a bounce like right before the big hit, just like it just preserved himself. But the greatest Steeler joke of all time is because in those days, this offense and the defense you could never mess with. But if even like Super Bowl X, our field goal kicking and our punting was terrible because we had the best offense and best defense. So the field goal kicker was Roy Girella, and that was the oldest joke ever. You know the joke, right?
Yeah.
Did you hear about Roy Girella tried to kill himself? Yeah. He put a gun to his head and shanked it to the left.
That's fucking amazing.
Jokes were in the 70s was just a much
100%. That's one you hear your dad and uncle say.
yeah, and that's like well, should I do a flyer joke? Yeah, why not?
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Even though I'm playing the Philly at the end of the month.
Yeah. Don't. Hey, that's not my audience. They won't hear that.
No, that was the old kids know Pelly Lindbergh died in a tragic car accident.
Okay.
And that was like what do a hockey puck and a Porsche have in common? 2 things Pelly Lindbergh can't stop at a or what's that's it. What's the difference between a Porsche and a hockey puck? Pelly Lindbergh can stop a hockey puck at 110 miles an hour.
Oh fuck.
They're cold. They're cold.
Oh my god.
Well, yeah, we just obviously we were.
I told those jokes great.
I fucking love
Come
it.
see my comedy show. You can really put out my 30-year-old material. I can't.
Hey,
that's
you're
better
doing
than
your
my
Joe,
mouth.
not somebody else's. There we go. We got it.
Some more jokes from Truly Tasteless Joke Book.
I was gonna say, speaking of stand-up, we'll move off of football a little bit, even though Super Bowl just happened, so this will probably
I
come
wanna
out
talk
the
about
week
it.
after. But yeah, no, obviously is on the side of Satan. Don't worry about it. Speaking of stand-up, though, when I was down in Hawaii, I had like a blast from the past because the dude was bringing out the dude we were staying with was my girlfriend's best friend's like boyfriend, and he had brought out all these old vinyl tapes of comedy, like Richard Pryor's first comedy tape. He showed me 1968 Las Vegas Red Fox, which was the first ever comedy album I ever had heard in my life. So I was just like having a spiritual experience. I'm like, dude, I remember my dad, like, because I used to be a fan of Sanford and Son, and then he was like, you want to see how dirty he is? And he showed me that, and I was like, oh shit, like this is the dad on this TV show. So it just was a blast. I'm like 1968 Vegas, like, just hearing all that was like just even though I was on vacation, it was like cool to just hear that kind of stuff. And I just wanted to know some of your like favorite people when you were coming up?
Oh, well, I mean, favorite people ever. I think we've, to me, Eddie Murphy, red suit Eddie Murphy, Delirious, is why 80% of the people 5 years older than me and 5 years younger than me do comedy. He was our Beatles on Ed Sullivan. Like, everybody that Monday at the bus stop and at school knew I can still do Delirious better than I can do an hour of my own material.
That's crazy. You just remember it. You listen
Eddie
over
Murphy,
and over.
yeah, that was Eddie Murphy. I love Dennis Miller. Dennis Miller, when he was doing Saturday Night Live, the news, and David Letterman, and Rodney, and Sam Kinison, and Seinfeld actually too. I just love stand-up comedy. But you know the greatest Red Fox story of all time, right?
Tell me. I wonder if I know it.
The one when it's Billy Crystal's story.
Okay.
So Billy Crystal, of course, he's a huge fan of Sanford and Sons, and everyone, and especially an old comic, you know who he was, Mr. Sanford in real life. God, I need to do more drugs. I can't. My brain doesn't work anymore. So they go. So he does like 2 shows, and then Red Fox. I'm just gonna say Mr. Sanford. Red Fox had like the 2 a.m. show, or like the Sahara or something. Red Fox comes over and goes, oh yeah, he goes, oh yeah, bring your wife, bring whoever you want, come to my show 2 a.m. So Billy Crystal's doing like 8 and 10. They go, okay, we'll go back to our room, take a little nap, relax, we'll get together at 2. So he brings him, his wife, his best friend's wife. They show up. They go, okay, yeah, we're on the guest list. Mr. Fox doesn't have a guest list. What do you mean? No, he said Mr. Fox, it's Vegas, so especially in the 70s, you can't Mr. Fox doesn't have a guest list. So, he's not making that much money at all. So basically to pay for 4 tickets was like all he made that whole night.
Oh my God.
They go in, they walk in, there's like 8 people in the crowd. Big orchestra. All of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, Red Fox. They go,
playing the theme song.
Yeah.
He walks out and he goes, Jesus Christ, only 8 goddamn people in here? I'm getting the fuck out of here. And he walked off, and the band's like,
That's amazing.
And Billy Crystal was out, whatever, like $1,000.
Dude, that's amazing.
And a lot of people, I'm not saying anyone stole that joke, but people, it's been passed down so many times. But that was actually Billy Crystal was the comic.
That's
Okay.
fucking
Some people
amazing.
confused it was this guy or that guy.
Yeah.
Is that the
I know
story?
no, I was gonna say I know there's one story about someone was open for him. I can't remember the comic, but they went in and were like, "Hey, like you're about, or the guy who was hosting was like, "Hey, you're about to be on next." And he said he came in his green room and he had the makeup girl sitting on his face, and he was like, "Go do some more jokes." But yeah, I remember being shocked because like I knew him from Sanford and Sons, and I was so like, my dad was like, that was the first record he ever showed me, and then after that he was like, let me show you, Richard Pryor and blah, 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 blah. Have you heard the story that Eddie was just telling about the red suit, the suit from Delirious, what happened to it?
Yes.
Keenan Ivory Wayans.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he was talking about, because I've got to talk to Damon and Shawn Wayans before, and that was like one of the best talks I've ever had in comedy, like really like open up some things for me, just talking to them. But I think Keenan Ivory Wayans is like awesome. Have you ever got to talk
I never met with Keenan, but
Yeah.
I've met Damon and and Chantel's great.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Shantae's amazing.
Yeah. And anyway, so he was saying that Keenan was like one of those guys that like obviously if you could tell by his career, like it was like if you tell him he can't do something, he's just gonna do it, So Eddie was like, they were going out to the club and he told Eddie that he saw the suit in his thing. And he was like, dude, you ever wear this again? He's like, no. He's like, and Keenan's a big dude, so he's like, you wear it out tonight. He's like, I'll give you like $2,000 if you wear it. So he's like, all right. So he put it on, was like ripping through it all night, sweating through it at the club, and he's like, that jacket just got ruined that night, and it's probably in the trash somewhere. And he's like, you could auction that suit for $2 million easy.
Oh, it should be in the Smithsonian.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just funny that one of his buddies wore it out to the club one night. Now it's just trash. But
the one, my buddy Joe, shout out to Joe Janisic. He came to the Improv. He came to. He saw us at the one on the South Side that's since closed.
Oh, Club Cafe.
Club Cafe, yeah. His brother had George Carlin Occupation Fool.
Ooh.
I'll spell it with the silent E at the end of fool to piss everybody off. And that had a version of the 7 words you can't say on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And we would listen to that like every afternoon.
That's
it was
fucking
side B.
amazing.
It had like farts are your friends. Hey, farts are shit without the mess. Like that was it. And then he did, like, you know.
Did you used to listen to them on vinyl, or was it like cassettes? Or?
I think that was vinyl. I bought the cassette. I bought that cassette.
Do you miss like just listening to a comedy album like that, like just listening through it rather than watching a special? I feel like there's something about it, just putting it on and just listening through.
I don't
a whole show.
watch things in general. If you have a video podcast, I only listen to it. I never watch the video of anything. I'd rather just listen to stuff. And that's when I used to work the door at the Punchline for years, and I heard every great comedian in the late 90s, early 2000s. That's how I know them all, and they're all my friends, and some of them passed, unfortunately. But because once I know what Mitch Hedberg looks like, or Dave Attell, I would just sit in the lobby on the more comfortable chair and listen.
Mm-hmm. What was your relationship like with Mitch?
He was a great friend. He was now there's a million people. Everyone's his best friend. He was very good to me. He took me on the road a couple times.
That's incredible.
And he was incredible. Dave Attell gave me all my first 5 or 6 big breaks.
Those are my two on my Mount Rushmore.
And then we fell off a little bit when he got sober. And then we'll never be like we were before, because I was always his designated driver, because I could drink with him and stay out all night and kind of be his bodyguard a little bit.
Yeah. Wow.
That is a weird thing. Like, and you could probably touch this. Is like, you knew who these people looked like. And I remember like my mom always growing up, she'd always be like, if like rock and roll people didn't put themselves on the album cover, like we didn't even know what these people looked like. You know, unless you went to a concert or like this, that, and the other, because like we weren't seeing them on TV or whatever. You just be like, oh, like whatever. Unless like I was like, that's a weird thing for comedy. I never thought about it that way, where it's like if. Sometimes you probably listen to an album, you're like, I don't even know who this guy looks like, or you don't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I remember this will get it back to Pittsburgh. Well, actually, I'll say 2 things. One was I have this project I've been working on. We put out like 15 episodes. The Midnight Special would come on NBC every Friday night at like midnight. And you get the biggest bands in the world. Because before that, there was no Instagram, there was no Twitter. And if they didn't come to your town that year, you didn't see them.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's like a live rock concert on TV, like 5 famous bands.
Yeah.
And it's
like touring was a whole bigger.
Everybody watched it, the Midnight Special. That's what we've been doing episodes on the Midnight Special channel. But about the coming around or talk. Oh, I'm spacing now.
Like seeing people on the album covers and stuff.
Oh yeah. I was bringing up to Pittsburgh. This will sound like bullshit, but it's true. I used to help bodyguard the Pittsburgh Pirates, and I was in Bobby Bonilla's car in the back seat. Daryl Strawberry was in the front. Did I tell you this story? And it was the first time I ever heard Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice.
Oh no, what a moment.
And Bonilla looked at Strawberry and goes, "He's a white boy. Can you believe that shit?"
Yeah. What did he say?
I'll never forget his face. Bobby Bo's got the big eyes, and he's like, "Oh, you believe that shit?"
That's like
it was a Mercedes, big ass Mercedes.
That whole thing went down recently about black people finding out that Bobby Caldwell is actually white.
That's my favorite. I love seeing those reaction videos.
Well, I didn't know who's the chick that died of heroin all the time.
Amy?
Yeah,
all the time.
I thought she was. See, that's another one. Get the gist. You know what I meant?
See what I'm talking about? That's why I know. That's why I know he's on this podcast, because he's from Kansas City. So it's the same. I'm telling you, I've been on the podcast enough times where I'm like, he knows what
it translates. Yeah.
But I'll tell you, out here, you do a podcast with a from California, they'll be like, what? What you mean? And you're like, I have to talk so much more precise. That like.
I read the label took Bobby Caldwell's photo for like his first album. And then they were like, nah, we got to black him out. And they made him a silhouette because they were like, if people know he's white, they're not going to play his music on black stations and stuff.
Chappelle came out with that whole thing where he's like, his neighbor and stuff, and he like didn't.
Is that an earthquake?
Dude, I thought I felt one earlier, like 30 minutes ago.
When trucks go by, does it make it?
If it's an 18-wheeler, it'll.
Okay.
We live pretty close to the highway, right, guys? Pretty expensive studio we got.
That's pretty. Yeah, no, well, here's how old and white I am. I don't even know who you're talking about.
Bobby Caldwell?
Man.
Yeah.
You don't know that song? I feel like if we played
I think you'd fuck with some Bobby Caldwell.
I would probably enjoy it. I'm not against it on purpose.
Yeah.
Well, here's the funny thing. Like, because I don't go to the gym anymore and I don't go to strip clubs anymore, so I don't really know any popular music.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
I've never heard one Taylor Swift song. Once again, I swear on my grandmother, I really, I mean, if I did, I don't know. I had passed a lie detector test.
Yeah, that's how I feel right now. I feel like they're just making up names at this point. I saw someone was like, "Oh yeah, Benson Boone is performing." I'm like, "Who the fuck is that? I've never heard of that fucker in my life."
Well, you'll
like,
know you're getting because you probably know. Like now, when I see a Coachella thing, there's like 1,000 bands.
Yeah,
I only know like the top. I'll know 5 names, but only know 2 the songs.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I've heard 3 other people's names.
Yeah,
before.
I mean, I don't know Lady Gaga. I don't know the other fucking 382 people on here.
Lady Gaga's talented. But I've heard her before, but I don't know any of her songs.
What was the best concert you ever went to in your life?
Oh my god!
I've been meaning to ask you that because you must have seen.
There's a couple AC/DC ones that were incredible.
Ooh.
There's a couple. I saw like so many Dead shows. I saw a lot of Tom Petty shows.
Ooh.
Jack White just recently was incredible.
Oh my god, I'm sure he's.
Yeah, I mean, and I work for Bill Graham Presents, so I've seen a lot of incredible.
You know this song?
Yeah.
I just want to play the first. You'll know. I'm curious.
Well, don't get thrown off of YouTube.
This is no, we won't. The silhouette too is like that's what he's
Yeah,
talking about.
that's
They made
what
it
they-
that so they wouldn't know this dude's
They
white.
covered him up so they wouldn't know he's white.
Oh, I know that song.
Yeah, that dude's
Yeah.
white.
Oh, but that seems like it's like 20 years old. That just came out
No,
recently.
no. It's but it just came out like people were like when he died, people were like, oh, he's what? He just recently died.
Yeah,
People were
there's
oh,
like
he's white.
reaction videos of black people being like, "This motherfucker looks like Indiana Jones."
Yeah.
You kidding
Like,
me?
like
Yeah.
right.
But
So
is that from the 80s or the 70s or the 90s?
I don't know when did it come out.
I think it's 80s. I think it's 80s.
Yeah, but people were like shocked when he died that he was like, and Chappelle did a whole bit about it, how he was like, he's my neighbor in Ohio, man. Like, like,
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it's interesting because I haven't seen like every Chappelle special, so there's some I would miss if he talked about it.
yeah, he's put out more recent, I feel like, than back in.
It's hard to
the
keep
day.
up with sometimes.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot. And
I don't really
power
like
to you.
watching comedy specials unless they're very good friends of mine, and I've already seen it anyway from just paying attention to like Verzi or Bill or whatever. Because and this is not anything other than like I don't want to hear someone else's take on something.
Yeah.
In case I may have a take similar.
Yeah.
That I don't want to be pushed.
Well, that's
that
the
way.
whole thing. Like, you know, like that whole aphasia thing that Dane Cook said about the Louis thing, where aphasia is like saying like you've heard something but you don't remember hearing it and you think it's your own thing. Like that's the thing that they call it.
That's the cop out for stealing material.
Exactly. That's it. So yeah, that's a pretty.
The Robin Williams excuse.
Yeah, and it's the same thing where it's like I'm like you, where it's like I just don't really unless I know the person, but I don't really know that probably as many people as you do that have specials out, so I just kind of stay away.
Yeah, well, the other thing though, and I'm totally stealing material. Like I would, I'm against it, but I don't think, especially in the beginning, up until like now, I think my material is a little bit more personal.
Yeah,
that,
people
like,
are coming to see you.
Well, thank you, but no, but I just mean like, okay, well, I thought like my first couple albums and stuff, and anything was just like, okay, I think I'm funny. Dave Attell thinks I'm funny, so I'm happy with myself. I'm working A rooms.
Yeah.
I'm good. But I don't think my material is like if someone in New York was doing the same bit. Like, it's like I don't think like having a kid is not like having a dog.
Right.
Blah
right.
blah blah blah. Like,
Right.
I don't think I invented that premise.
Yeah.
And I should walk
Talking
around
about dating.
pissed if somebody has like near the same joke.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
But some people do.
But it's
Right.
like someone's
But
like personal, like I'm from Pittsburgh, I'm Italian, I'm this, and you're like you stole that from me. It's like,
yeah, or just like
yeah.
Like,
it's
I hit a
something
woman
so
once.
specific to yourself.
Yeah.
But
or
then,
like, yeah, my daughter goes to Berkeley. Well, hey, so does mine. No, she does. But,
Yeah.
But like, a couple of times I had to just be like, dude, like it's the same. I have the same joke, but I don't really care. But just so you know, like mine's been on this thing or mine's on my seat. Just so you know. Like,
Yeah.
I don't.
well, that's the best
Yeah.
way. Like that's why one thing I love about Joe Purity is like you're very like just say what you're you know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna just be like, oh, that was my. Just like, hey, I have the same thing. That's fucking get back. Like people are so beat around the bush or just. I think it's a nepotism. Someone was like, they couldn't possibly think of that. It's like dude, we're all thinking all the time of this shit. Like,
I did just watch someone at the Ice House. I don't think they even knew I was working the sound booth. They did exactly my joke, like how I did it, how I fist bumped the person in the crowd that I have on my Instagram clip that's posted. They just
Hall & Oates
they
one?
reenacted the storming the Capitol thing,
Oh.
and they did the whole like the fist bump and like I was just like,
and someone who's definitely seen you do it.
yeah, he goes to the open mic too,
Oh.
and I was just like. You've seen me do this a lot of times, and I was like,
Like I said, there's that
Why are
one
you
kid.
doing
There's
it
that one kid going
exactly
around
how
town.
I-
He does Anthony Jeselnik's exact material, And I'm like, how does he keep getting like? Because I'll tell anybody. I'll be like, because the first time I saw him, it was like everyone has the same reaction. They were like, oh, he's just doing it like he does, that cadence. And then a couple jokes, and you're like, no, he's doing his jokes. Like,
That's wild.
yeah,
That's wild.
And no one tells him not to.
Again, I was only on a show with him one. No, I guess
I'm not making you the
No.
police. I'm just like
that's the thing. I've never.
not one person. Has?
That's what I'm shocked about. And like he came
I've
up and
heard
was
that.
like, and I was like, what are you doing? Like, and I can't believe he keeps. And anyone who anyone who comes around that I've seen, I'm like, yeah, that dude definitely steals jokes. Or like if I see someone talking to him, I'm like, dude, don't do jokes for that dude.
Yeah.
That used to be a thing. Like if you're doing triple runs up in Montana or Idaho or anywhere really, and you're like a little town and like it's like the local kids hosting like that Thursday.
Yeah.
You look on the calendar like, don't do that joke in front of this guy.
Really?
Yeah, if the kid has like like almost everybody hopefully has like one really good joke.
Yeah.
And if it's like, oh this
Yeah.
guy's gonna.
I got bumped. I got bumped a couple months ago.
Like, don't do it in front of him.
I got bumped a couple months ago at the store by Dion Cole, and he went up there and he straight up first thing he said in his mouth, he goes, "Oh, I was gonna do a bunch of new stuff, but there's a dude in here who steals jokes." Like he just straight up said on stage. He didn't say who. No, not
I
about
remember
me.
that. I remember
But
that.
I don't know. Who,
I was there too.
You were there? Yeah,
I was
you
there.
were there
I
to
was
see me.
sitting there,
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, remember that? He
who
was
the
like,
fuck-
someone's in this room to steal jokes, and
Yeah, I
so
see
I
him.
got to
He's
do
like, I
all a
see
bunch
him
of
writing
old
them
stuff,
down.
and everyone was like looking around like, who is it? Yeah, and I was going to right after. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were there. Yeah, what
That
the
was in the
fuck?
belly room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never figured out who it was.
I don't know.
But
I was
but yeah, he just straight up announced that, and he was like, "Fuck, I'm kind of bummed because I was gonna do new shit, now I can't." I was like, we were all like, "Who is this? Who's in this room?"
That's interesting.
It was like playing Clue,
yeah,
like who the
everyone's
fuck in
looking
here
at
is the
Joe.
murderer?
Who's typing notes right
Yeah,
now?
who's taking notes in the belly room with a pencil?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm naive. I'm not naive about a million things, but I'm naive about some things. But I don't know if it's naivety or just not giving a shit. But
Yeah,
I don't even care if it personally really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like unless it's like my closer.
Yeah. That's why when I
It's
saw
like-
that,
it's
I was
like whatever.
it's like it's kind of I was pissed for a second, but I'm like I'm not fucking.
That was the
Dave
worst part
Attell.
about the
I'm like,
Jezebel-
what am I worried about? You
Yeah.
know, I'm
that was
not-
the worst part about that Jezebel one is he did Jezebel's closer from his last special about like how a girl gets she goes, oh, I gave her flowers on prom night and then she got killed, and she goes, but still at least she still gets flowers every year. It's like so specific of a joke, you know what I mean? Because on her grave, every year she dies. So I'm like, it's such a specific joke. I'm like, that's 100% has to be stolen. Like that's
Why would you go through the whole open mic scene and not write your own jokes?
right?
Right.
Like what a miserable existence.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. What do you do? What are you in it for?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Yeah. Are you having fun?
Well, it's like in our business, you have to have a little bit of narcissism.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the people who are like just straight up narcissists that they're not even conscious of it. You know what I mean? Like they don't even get it. But
Yeah, I know. My wife calls me a narcissist all the time.
we have to be. I feel like because to have the confidence
but-
to like step on stage like that.
Yeah.
But I don't even know how narcissism is a bad thing, really. Like, if you look up narcissism, it's like, well, isn't
Everyone's got to be a little narcissistic, right?
Well,
Everyone.
I always say that quote of like sometimes sometimes you don't toot your own horn, you don't hear any music,
Right.
Which is like so we like especially when you're starting up, like if you don't think you're funny, no one's gonna. I hate when people are like, I guess I'm a stand-up. It's like if you don't call yourself a stand-up,
Well,
like,
then you're definitely not.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I applaud that person because so many people think they're stand-ups that they're not.
Well, I always call them Thanksgiving comics, where they just like to go home at Thanksgiving and tell their family that they're doing it.
Oh, that's a great term. Yeah.
Thanksgiving comics.
Yeah, I go,
Wow.
Well, it's the comics that made your Ice House show be a benefit. It's like, like no, just make it a benefit. Yeah, because you're just happy to be on a poster that says the Ice House.
Yeah.
The rest of us work. You want to volunteer? Go carry water like I did.
I see it all the fucking time, dude.
Like you're
All
happy in the poster. I'm happy to get paid.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny because I want to joke, but I haven't done it yet on stage. Maybe I'll do it soon. But I'm like, yeah, my wife calls me the N-word all the time, narcissist.
Oh, I love it.
Oh man,
Yeah,
yeah. No, I was. It's funny because I literally then did a. It was the worst. This was talking about a terrible gig. I literally volunteered at the Y like 5 times, doing a lot of carrying water, and then last Saturday I did an outside gig to raise money for the firefighters in Venice Beach.
Nice.
It was easier carrying water for 5 hours than it was doing a 10-minute outdoor set in Venice by the beach.
Oh no.
Yeah, and because at least when
The whole crowd was homeless? Or?
because at least when I talked, carrying the water, more people listened and respected me.
The whole crowd was probably homeless if you were in Venice.
No, they were all
especially if it was
like,
outside. It's probably just whoever wandered
Just
down
smells like piss.
Yeah.
well, it was like, I just don't like forcible comedy.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, they had the idea like we're going to do comedy, and the restaurant wanted to do it, and the guy was super nice, and we're going to put it like outside. We just did it inside. It'd been great because those people would listened. But outside, you have all the people on the street, the cars, and then you have all the people who just want to be seen outside eating breakfast in Venice. Had nothing to do with what I have to say. It was just like 5 people laughing, and the rest of the people just annoyed.
Dude, I had one of those a couple weeks ago.
You driving from Pasadena to fucking Venice is charity enough. That's fucking 2 hours.
Dude, I drove an hour and a half for a show, and like it was me and a few, like 3 other comics. We all drove that far for the show, and we pull up, and it's just like a tiny little restaurant, like Brazilian restaurant. We're like, oh no, there's like 5 people. You could tell each one had a hard day. They're not sitting together. They're just eating their own meal, just alone, like fuck. And we're like, they have no idea a comedy show is about to start in front of them right now. Yeah. What the fuck is this gonna be like? Oh my god! Like when that forcible comedy is just like weird. You're like, hey guys, listen up, I guess.
Yeah, the worst words to hear in comedy are "no more pool."
Yeah.
Then you're just like, yeah, last pool game. Turn off the TVs.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, this guy's gonna be doing comedy.
Who here's the comic? The crowd's comedians. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, and then they'll always like, almost every bar gig is like, people want to like, it's just, and you guys learn this and you know it. You have to put the better people up first. I know that it's counterintuitive, but the line between like, hey, can we put the game back on in a comedy show is so thin that if you put up 3 people that are Thanksgiving comics, it just ruins that. It's like
there's
no momentum.
Yeah, like I'll give you my $100 back if I can just go first.
Yeah.
And go home.
No, you're 100% right. Like you almost have to back, like, do the opposite. Your headliners go first.
Get
like,
their attention.
Yeah.
Get their
Because
attention.
like we were just talking about before
Make
the thing is like they just leave. You know what I mean? And then the people who are worth a damn, they're just stuck there with nobody.
Yeah.
And I 100% couldn't agree
all of
more.
us would leave if we were sitting at that restaurant, like about to take a bite.
It's like when
of
you
our
go to a
burger.
bar and you just want to hang out and watch a game and then they have karaoke.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're like, I just wanted to watch the game. Like I don't want to fucking.
Yeah, no matter what. If the first 2 comics stink, the hot chicks are going to leave.
Yeah.
And that's literally the whole reason why we're all doing the bar gig at the beach anyway.
Yeah. Free tab and a brat.
Yeah.
So I could use one of these drink tickets on one of these chicks over here.
Please stay. I'll get you a drink. You have a free ticket.
I'm always in the back nursing my beer, just being like, "You're leaving now." I'm like, I'm in like 5 more minutes. Like, oh yeah, and everybody wants to. Oh yeah, I've seen you do comedy before. Yeah, we're gonna go. We'll be here next week. Well, I'm not gonna be here next week.
Yeah, I won't be here next week.
Yeah. It's always that way.
That is, it's so funny too. Like it's funny how like sometimes you bond with someone more over bad gigs than you do like good gigs.
Oh, 1,000%.
Like I remember me and you did. I'm like good friends now with Suba, but the first time I met her is when we did that gig at the bowling alley when the mic didn't work, and you just go, just let her go.
Oh yeah, me and Subes go way back.
And you were like, and you learned because I had never met her before. And you looked over and she's like, she's a real comic. She's actually funny. She's like, just let her go. Because they were trying to fix the mic and it was just a disaster.
Yeah, poor Sue, but she's a great comic.
She's so funny.
From New York City. Works her ass off. Has been doing this like 15, 16 years. Nothing but respect. She's great. She's hilarious. I love Subes. And we did so many shows together in New York. So, there's like there's probably like me, her, and maybe 2 other regular comics, and then all people like you at that time, like less than a year in.
Yeah, that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah. So this guy, I forget his name. Oh, Howie. Just I never worked with him again after that.
Yeah, Joe's like, you want to come with me? I was like, sure.
Yeah, I literally. She's on stage. We're in the private room of this bowling alley. There's people that just imagine people that are too broke to bowl.
Yeah.
This private room upstairs, and it's just like 20, 30 people in the valley in a bowling alley upstairs watching this show. She's in the middle of her really grade A jokes. Like she's trying, she's doing like, you're not getting her just being upset. She's a professional.
Yeah.
She's doing her real jokes. He's in the middle of her show, goes, we're gonna fix the mic. She's still doing her shows. Like he's like on the ground rolling around trying to fix the mic stand, the cords and everything. And I'm just like, Howie, let her do her fucking act.
Yeah, so it was so good though, because it was like everyone was thinking it. Like, just get the fuck out of like, stop doing this right now.
Yeah,
but it was so funny.
And of course, she left.
Yeah.
Oh my
and
God.
then, and then like a week later, she's like, "Oh, she saw me. She's like, I just want to thank you for just yelling at Howie. It was so awkward." I'm like, "Yeah,
Dude.
I just couldn't let you sit."
Yeah.
It was like abuse that
and probably like 4 to 6 months after, I see her at the Comedy Store. We're on the same show.
Oh, that's a truck. We can't have this many earthquakes. Right?
Yeah, it's a joke. And but I just said to her, I was like, hey, we were on a show before, and she's like, what? And again, she was like, I do so many shows. I only remember that show because how terrible it was because the mic didn't work and shit. Like, he's like, get the fuck out. But everyone was thinking it. Everyone's like, why are you doing this in the middle of, like you say, he's like rolling around on the stage. It's like, what are you doing?
You were the hand of God that saved everyone.
Yeah, and he's like an older guy that's like fat and unkept. So it just was like an eyesore.
Yeah, it was,
like he wasn't fixing anything.
Yeah, it never got fixed.
Yeah,
it never got. We did our sets. I don't think with a
He
mic.
was becoming such a shitty focal point.
Oh yeah, and he's literally one of the guys too that's like, oh well, I promised these 3 guys that they're next. It's like, Howie, I'm here right now. There's 11 people here.
Yeah,
these 3 guys are gonna walk every fucking one of them
out of the door,
and they all did.
Yep.
Oh God.
Yeah. But again, that's hey.
Oh God.
We've been through some time. We had some good times.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It was fun. No, I mean that's why every shit gig I've ever done in 29 years of comedy, and even great corporate gig, I always want to bring a buddy with me. So no matter what, the ride home is fun.
Yeah. Can you believe that shit?
Yeah. Again, it's just so weird how you bond with people almost more on those like kind of gigs than like the great ones. It's like you have it's almost trauma bonding because everyone's come up that way. We have been kind of like doing the end segment where we have this new segment where you kind of pick out like current topics out of a hat and kind of riff on them as comics. If you're down to
I thought Dago
dude, yeah, well, this might be even better. Yeah,
Riff.
I'm up for any game.
All right,
You want to kick things off, Joe?
This has to be your hat.
No,
It would match the
So all right, so I'll just show you how. So I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory.
I know how to shake a hat. Let me just show you how to do it. I know I'm not the brightest bulb, but
shake a hat for money. I'm excited to see Joe's perspective on this because I'm wondering if it's the same as some other people. But we got Kendrick Lamar's halftime performance as the first one who picked it out. Who I know, or if people aren't fans of him, did not enjoy it particularly.
I had the sound down.
Yeah.
The whole first half. And I only turned it on for the second half because I wanted to see what Tom Brady would say it was like to be down 24-0. Mm-hmm. And apparently they paid him $750 million to not address that, which I thought would be the only reason to have Tom Brady be an announcer was to give he's the only man on earth.
It's a pretty topical thing to bring up at the moment. Yeah.
So I don't even blame him because why would he want to say, well, back when I played, I would think his pretty boy announcer counterpart or a producer would be like, hey, Tom, why don't you talk about what it's like to be down 24 and 29?
Yeah, you're down 25 or 28-3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Tom would just sit back there like, fuck yeah, dude.
Because
There's no one talking about the GOAT conversation now.
You're just happy. A rat.
Because, like, it's like the other guy, like, he's just kind of mediocre, the other play-by-play guy, but they made the biggest deal about, like, he took over for that tight end. Like, everyone cried over this tight end from North Carolina.
Greg Olsen,
lost his job. It's like, he's the fucking tight end from the Panthers. Yeah, when Tom Brady walks in, you're going to lose your job. That's like, oh, yeah, when Bill Burr walks in, guess what? We're all doing less time.
Yeah.
Newsflash. Fucking break. But then you would think, okay, so you did all of that. Everyone's pissed. You'd think when you got him right there, they couldn't have been teed up more to say, hey, Tom, what was it like to be down? What were your thoughts? They're like, nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
As far as the halftime show, I didn't have the sound on. Kendrick Lamar, I'm old and white. If you would have told me in September that he played for the Houston Rockets, I would have said, okay.
That's exactly how everyone. Like my parents are ever like, they were texting me, "Who's this?"
Yeah, I literally would have been
My
like,
mom's like, I
is
want
he a
Lady
forward?
Gaga.
Yeah, if you would have been like, he plays for the Houston Rockets, he plays for the Kansas City.
You said, I'll take the over.
Yeah, like he's a rapper. Like I would have never. Yeah.
Oh,
That's great. All right, we got.
Oh, it's mine.
Yeah. You picked
Back
that
like what we were saying earlier. That was the first time I heard most of those songs during the
He
halftime
didn't play
show.
a lot of his big hits. I'm not gonna lie. He
I
didn't play
just-
like Money Trees or any of that, right?
I don't listen to
Like-
any modern music, so it's like I know a couple.
I mean, I liked obviously some of them. I was a fan, but
Worst heckling experience.
Ooh.
Well, I had a shot glass thrown at me
What?
in Victorville.
where's that?
It's if your car breaks down on the way to Vegas.
Oh shit!
Near
Yeah.
Prim?
How long ago was this?
This is probably like 8-10 years ago, but it was my second to last joke. It's my when I do the teacher having sex with the kid joke.
Yeah,
Well, one, it's about special needs, and someone in the crowd had a special needs kid.
and they threw.
So they threw a shot glass at me. And it's a Doug James gig, so he's like, well, I knew your closer was next, so I didn't want to make a big scene.
What a funny
So
thing to say.
Yeah, so I was outside, and the people came out and go, chick, they threw a shot glass at you. I had no idea.
Yeah, and hey, if you guys are watching this
I
podcast,
knew your closer was next.
Oh, okay, so then another one, I got punched 3 times in the face by Irish guys in the Irish bar show I ran in San Francisco.
What?
how old were you then?
20s, 29
And
maybe.
they just beat
What
you
was your
up.
joke?
No, I didn't drop the mic.
Really?
I didn't hit him back. I didn't do anything because I was okay. So basically, I just showed this Irish bar for like a year. It was 1 month away from the anniversary show, 11 months in a row, and there was like just 4. This is back before like .com. There's like 3 or 4 like longshoremen Irish guys from Ireland at the bar, and they just like weren't being quiet. But there was like maybe 20 people to watch the show, and then like 10 comics,
Mm-hmm.
and they just. So I'm like, well. And I'm like, who wants to go? Who's first? Just like, and everyone's like, they didn't want to go up because these guys.
Yeah.
And I go, I go, hey, and I'm just like, well, I might as well just take the fucking bullet. I go, hey, you guys don't have to shut. You don't have to be quiet, but can you just turn it down a little bit? And they're like, fuck you, blah 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 blah. So I go, why don't you go blow up a department store? So then the 3 guys jumped me, and one guy punched me, and one guy punched me twice, and it was my roommate who was at the time worked a bartender at the Fillmore, a good 250 pounds and a good bisexual lesbian. And I was way more afraid of being in the brawl and going to jail and never getting that amplifier back than I was about getting punched a couple times by these Irish guys.
Yeah.
So then they hit me again, and they're like, shut the fuck up. And they're yelling at me. I go, and I didn't move. I got hit twice, and I'm like, and I go, that's why your country will never be free. Because none of you know how to fight. And he punched me again, and by then, like 20 people broke it up.
I punched you again.
And I didn't go down or anything, and I'm like,
That's fucking
and then
awesome.
they pulled them. They pulled like the 2 guys off, like 2 of the 3 guys, like they pulled off, and I'm like, I guess the show's over. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I think it's over.
Yeah.
I think it's over.
These potato monkeys ruined it.
I was gonna say, if you guys, if you know me, it's when I got attacked on stage at Hollywood, and it was the same thing where I went up and I did probably 5 minutes after the whole thing, but I mean, I literally tried to tackle
Well,
me.
that was the improv.
No, it was some shitty bar in the middle of Sunset.
Oh.
I will never do again. But it's where Mike Tyson got a gun pulled on him. If you guys want to check it out, it's got 170,000 plus views on Instagram, and like this guy tried to tackle me. But, have you had any bad experiences? No, or
I haven't had any crazy hecklers, but the other
Yeah.
night at the Ice House, there was a fucking guy, dude, started screaming during this comedy show in the back in that comics booth in the California room.
Uh-huh.
Literally, this sweet girl's trying to do her act, and this guy's just like, "What? I'm trying to speak my mind, and you can't. You guys are trying to fucking shame me." Just starts screaming.
Whoa.
Security's like, "Dude, you gotta quiet down. You gotta quiet down." Like, there's like about 4 like hood ass dudes in the crowd that are just like, "Fuck this motherfucker," and they get up and they come back and they're like, we're gonna jump your ass. Like, you say another fucking word. Dude starts screaming. I'm in the booth, and I'm just like, I've had it. Who the fuck raised this guy? I've fucking had enough of this guy. So I get out. He's just like, you want to fucking shame me for fucking speaking my word? I was like, no, everyone's shaming you because you're being a fuck right now. You gotta shut the fuck up. You get the fuck out. He wasn't fucking leaving. I got the flashlight. I'm like right here. I'm just like shining in his eyes. He's like, I'm a warrior. I'm a warrior. Don't touch me. Fucking someone's just like, I'll flip your ass right now.
It was on something.
Dude, it got nuts. The cops came. Fucking, they had to fucking split it up. It was, and then the guy outside, like, the cops are like, dude, you just settle down. They finally get him outside. He's like, how much are tickets usually? Like, what are you you're not fucking coming back
you're
here,
never
dude.
coming back.
What are you talking about? How much are tickets usually? I'm like, fuck you, dude. Like $15, but 2-item minimum. Get the fuck out of here.
Go ahead, pull one.
I had a good one at the Ice House. I forgot about this one. This is when Red Band was doing the Red Band Chronicles.
Oh, yeah.
And we would go on the podcast and go do the Little Room. And I was in there, and it was right when I was working out the one that's in my special, which a lot of people think is my best joke about how we Italians, we weren't white until the 40s.
Yeah, love that one. Perfect.
And the lead up to it, you know, or the end of so anyway, I was working it out, and two black women and a black guy in the back just started being like, not funny, because they didn't, there's no nuance, and they just heard code words, and they just had to freak out.
Yeah.
And they were heckling me, and I'm just like, hey, like, I'm not Kramer. Like, you're not going to get me. So just shut up.
I'm not Kramer.
You know what I mean? Just it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And I actually had some fans there going, just do the regular, just do the job. I'm like, so I just did a couple of jokes, and then I got off stage and went back and I telling on the Red Band show, like telling what happened. Like 20 minutes later, because they kept saying, no, one of them goes to Princeton, one goes to Harvard, whatever. Like 20 minutes later, the cops are there because they wouldn't pay their bill.
Oh, you love to see it. Oh my God.
I was just like, I'm like, I mean, and then remember Patty, the old manager, Patty. You remember Patty? This is before your time. And I'm like, Patty, what? She's like, no, it wasn't you at all. They wouldn't pay their bill.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, but they were all like, I'm like, no, I'm not Kramer. I'm not gonna snap. I'm not gonna be on TMZ.
Yeah, forever.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, this isn't the end of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of my favorite Chappelle jokes. Is when he's going up in the Laugh Factory. He's just looking at the background. He's like, every time I look at this, I think of Kramer fucking up.
The best is that Frasier was the host. And Frasier had to go back up, and he was like, "Well,
no way!"
And two people refused. Mike Marino
goes,
"I'll go up." Marino destroys because Marino goes, "I don't know what everyone's worried about. It's like every night in New Jersey."
We definitely have to bring that up when we have Frasier on. That's hilarious.
Oh fuck! That's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Craziest drug/drinking story. Oh my God. That's
too long. Pick another one. We don't have time for that many. Yeah.
There's a lot to dive in there.
Yeah, right.
First job ever. Oh my God, dude. I fucking love my first job. In high school, it was a restaurant. It was like kind of half of the restaurant was fancy as fuck. Half the restaurant was like sports bar. It was called Nick and Jake's. You go to the Nick side or the Jake side. Fucking sick. And I was a host, and I just I would eat so much goddamn food there. I spent almost my whole paycheck just like on chicken pot pies at this place. But I
You get to eat for free?
Dude, no, I got half off. Half off. So I was like, I can get like 2 entrees for one. Yeah, so every night. But I started that was when I started smoking weed too. And I guess I could tie it in with that one. And I started dabbing. That was when I started dabbing hardcore. And I had my little dab kit, and I'd go out in the back and just hit dabs. And there were some servers that were like, "Whoa, can I try that?" And I'm like, "You smoke?" And I'm like, "Yeah, fucking
They'd be
smoke."
wrecked.
Dude, all of a sudden, 3 servers going, and they're just fucking one guy went up to a table, and he's just like,
You
"How
were
you guys
dabbing
doing?"
his fucking
It was a
wax, yeah.
family of 4, like a father, wife, 2 little kids, and he's like, "What's going on, Peter? Can I get what can I get you guys? Peter, what do you want?" Just like pointing to the wife, "Peter, what do you want?" I'm just calling everyone Peter. I'm like, oh my God, he gets sent home. Fucking, it started getting weird there, and I got fired. One day I walk in, and my manager just goes, "Noah, I don't think your heart's in Nick and Jake's anymore. It's like, what the fuck? Like, did I just get fired? He sent me home. I go to my buddy's house, and we just smoke a big blunt about it. 'Cause I'm like, I just got fired, dude. We get really baked, and we're just so hungry, too. And we're like, where should we go eat? And I'm like, Nick and Jake's. Fucking show up reeking of weed. My manager's like, dude, we told you gotta go. And I'm like, table for 2.
Weird to eat, not work.
Yeah, and then he's like, you guys smell like shit. And we go to they sit us, and like my buddy Rob is serving us. And I'm like, what's up, Rob? We eat too. He gives us the employee discount because he didn't know I got fired that afternoon. Manager comes up. He's like, Rob, why'd you fucking give him this discount? What do you mean? It's Noah. He's like, yeah, he's fucking gone. He doesn't work here anymore. I'm just like, thanks, Rob. Yeah. Oh, it's the best. I still go there every time I go back home.
This is Kansas City?
Yeah. And I'm just like, what's up, fuckers? And they're like, oh, God. The best. The best.
I think mine was, I worked at this place in college. It was called Madres, and it was a knockoff Chipotle. And it was the best job I ever had because I lived in the apartment right above it, and my other buddy had a job too, another Paisan from Pittsburgh. So we got to the point where they had to give our manager to the other location, so we didn't have anybody that told us what to do. So we just got to the point where we would just schedule each other together, and he would either work or I would work. So I get paid for not even being there because it was never busy. Damn. So I would just eat nachos and shit for free all the time. And if it ever got that busy, I'd be like, oh, I'm right upstairs, just call him, like I'll be right down. So I got all this. It was the best job I ever had, dude. I would literally sit in the back and just watch Game of Thrones and eat nachos. And then we were like, dude, I'm gonna have this all 4 years of college. It fucking closed over the summer because no one came to it. But Madres, baby, that was my best job.
Other than being in a newspaper, I did a newspaper route, so that's my first job. But my second job was Cool Springs, picking up balls, wearing the cage over my head.
Oh, baby.
That's
our,
awesome.
yeah.
If you know Pittsburgh, you know that.
Yeah. I was going to say, yeah, my first job was working for my family, but then my first like job outside of that. But
Because if everyone's like, I would tell that story on podcasts
Cool
or
Springs,
the radio, people would be like, were people aiming at you? Like, well, of course.
Yeah.
It's like date night in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You go out and hit the guys wearing the cages. And it was always like, and we would have line brawls of like all of us versus like 3 guys hitting balls at us. And it would always be like, from 150 back was kind of safe. But then from like 150 in is where you made your money. Because they would keep score of how many buckets everyone would bring back.
Oh, okay.
It was like little Lord of the Flies. You get bonuses.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
it was
There's
pretty
some
cool.
incentives there.
Little
Yeah.
incentive, man.
So
Now,
if you were up by the tee line, and anyone could, you chicks, anyone could hit it like 70 yards.
Wow.
you want to pass me the hat? We'll do one
Yeah.
we'll go through because we have a little hard out. So.
Okay.
You have any advice for your younger self? Start doing stand-up sooner. Don't go to college. It's mine.
Well, being as I'm 55, I've made we can pick our own. I have a million mistakes.
You can go off that or pick your
Die
own.
young. Miss that turn.
Missed that turn. I just drew favorite stand-up special ever.
Okay, this is a good one to head on.
I feel like I'm trying to remember it. Stephen Wright, I Still Have a Pony, I think is mine. Stephen Wright was fucking unreal to me.
Mine's Richard Pryor live on the Sunset Strip.
Oh, yeah.
I have 2.5. Delirious, Chris Rock, Bring the Pain.
Yes.
Those are the two, to me, 100 out of 100s. And then as an asterisk, if Dave Attell's Skanks for the Memories was a special and not a CD.
Oh, my
that
God.
would be number 1.
Yeah.
Oh, my
That
God.
would be right there with it.
That's a
'cause
good
that-
list, yeah.
That's the 100 out of 100.
Attell's last one is up there for me,
Oh,
too.
absolutely.
I saw him work it out at the Ice House, too, and it was the greatest show I've ever seen live.
That's why when he would come into San Francisco, he would do Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays, and like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And like Tuesdays and Wednesdays was like the nights where he would just fuck around with all of
so
his
good.
There would be different, the ones that are classics platinum that everyone can recite now.
Yeah.
You could see when he was tinkering with them on
Yeah.
Tuesdays and
Yeah.
Wednesdays, and that's when like all the Bill Graham people from like the Fillmore and the Warfield come on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. That's when everyone knew. Come see Attell beginning of the week.
Dude, it was so unreal. It was the hardest I've ever had to try and hold my piss in, and I couldn't go pee because I didn't want to miss a word he was saying. And then I was like new to comedy at that time. I just started out, and so like I did that newbie thing, and I was like, Dave, I was like, because we were chatting after the show, I was like, what's a piece of advice you would give an up-and-coming comic? And he goes, lose the fit. I was like, oh, fuck.
That's a great way to wrap this one up. I do want to, again, just reiterate, tickets, link in the bio. Me and Joe, March 8th in Pittsburgh.
Andy Picaro.
And Andy Picaro. Shout out Andy.
Paisans.
The three-headed horseman going into Pittsburgh. We're real excited to see you guys again. Definitely can find tickets on our bio in this description, everything, Spotify, YouTube. I want to lay out the floor for Joe real quick to give his socials and everything real quick.
Instagram, Mr. Joe Bartnick. Everywhere else, Joe Bartnick. And come see me. I'm playing around the country, as always. So even if you're not in Pittsburgh, there's dates up.
Yeah. Noah, again, awesome. Thank you. You want to plug yours?
Can I also mention, I just want to say, too, because this is a crazy full circle moment for me, because when I was, like, years ago, when I was fucking hating my life, had a warehouse job in Kansas City, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. I was working every goddamn day listening to podcasts of, like, you and Burr just, like, fucking around. Just you, I was listening to you guys, like, in my head every day. So it's a full circle moment to finally riff with you on a podcast. So if there's any kid working a fucking warehouse job out there that fucking hates his life and wants to try stand-up or something, fucking do it. Just don't be a Thanksgiving comic.
Yeah.
Well, someday you'll be able to riff with Noah.
Yeah. He'll be on here one day with
God
us. Dude, Joe, thanks a bunch, dude.
Thanks for having me. And Noah's a great guy, great comic. You always a great guy, great comic. And great
Alec,
work.
appreciate you.
Yeah, good stuff.
Well, guys,
thanks for having me.
Dude, it's always great hanging out with you guys. We'll have Joe will be on again very soon. Again, we're coming out with episodes every week. Sense of Humor TV, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, Augie D Comedy. Thank you guys so much. Sense of Humor TV out.